Hello, I'm Jaynee from Messages from Heaven by Jaynee, and also Spirits by Jaynee. I will be changing that a little bit because a lot of what I do is life coaching. So, in some way, I will be adding that, and I will be giving free readings. If you want a free reading that will include life coaching, just write to me at spiritsbyjaynee.com, and I will work with you, schedule you, and we'll have a good time. You know, um, why I came on today was I want to talk about reincarnation, well, living other lives. Um, the the fact is that when we come to Earth, we come here specifically to work through certain issues that we haven't been able to conquer in our past lives. Um, I can't I can't tell you which or what. Um, Many people have lived thousands of lives, or 10, 20, 50. It varies from person to person, but you can you can look at the nations that you feel strongly about. In some ways you're drawn to them. That tells you that you probably had a life there. We have all been, let's see, white, black, African, Caribbean, Asian, Inuit in different places. We've been American, Native Americans, and um, what we used to call Eskimos. I guess we call them Inuits now. I went to school, elementary school, in the 50s, and some of those names still stick, you know. Um, yes, I had more education. I didn't stop at grammar school. Um, we do have, in the United States, we have compulsory education. And while you can stop at 16 or just not go, most people do go. And I think the majority finish high school. Anyway, I did go to college. I did go. You don't really want, you don't care. I can't imagine that you would care about the fact that I went to graduate school. Doesn't matter. I didn't learn very much. Um, I knew a lot about the subject before I went because I had been working in nursing homes and psychiatric hospitals before, and so I was had to become familiar with the subject. I couldn't have worked with people. So in this life, I've moved around. I haven't moved around in from places, but I've worked at different things. Um, Almost all my life, I studied art. I went to a wonderful school, the best school in Philadelphia for classical art, which is what I wanted to do. And I went there from 1970 to 75. I still wonder, do you care about this? The point being that I came to this life wanting to be an artist. Um, I drew all over everything from the time I was about 6. And when I was 13, I went to a school here. I was lucky enough. My aunt sent me on to, sent me to art school, and I continued after that a little later. Um, what did you do? What did you come wanting to do? We all have an idea when we're kids. What do we want to do? And I wanted to be a dress designer. Couldn't sew, didn't even like sewing. I'm a terrible sewer. So was my mother, so she couldn't show me. Um, that really ended that, but I still do love costuming. Um, I also, when I was a kid, I loved drawing and learning about Egypt, and ancient Greece. Not so much Rome, but ancient Greece. I was fascinated by it. And I think that I probably had lives there. However, I have had experiences that told me I lived in certain places. I opened the medicine cabinet in the bathroom one day and realized I had opened shutters in Amsterdam just the same way. So I knew, okay, that was a life. Another time I looked at someone's name and I was so shocked. I knew the name and I would never have said that I lived a life in Ireland, but I did. And I know my name and I looked it up. I have since talked to that spirit. You can do that. So, my point really is our distrust and bigotry against any one, really, any ethnic group, any racial group is crazy because we were that. You cannot limit yourself. It doesn't, once you're on the other side, well, first you're spirit. And we treat each other there with love and compassion. There just isn't any room for hate. So when we're there, we tend to think we can do more than we really can on earth. And we make plans. Before we come to earth, we choose who we want to be, and we can't just choose white person living in Montana. You can't, you cannot over and over say, I want to be a white person in Montana again. No, it doesn't work like that. When I spoke with Martin Luther King, he wanted to come back and do the same work, continue the work that he had begun, and he felt that he didn't finish. Same thing with Muhammad Ali. I wonder whether I think in both cases they're going to be able to do that if they choose to become a racial minority. They can do it, or they can whatever they can. We do have a possibility of choice, but we tend to choose before we come back as spirits something difficult. We think we can when we're there. We think we can do it. We think we can succeed. Um, we do tend to come back over and over with a large group of people. It might be about 1,000 to 2,000. I mean, it's a big group. Um, it's our family. It's really huge, and there are spirits of every color, of every ethnicity in that group. How did I see them? I don't know. I had a vision, and my great grandfather popped up in the back. He put his hand up and jumped up. He's a character. And after that, we began to talk, to have conversations. And now I know him. And I love him. He's just wonderful. I mean, he went into Lowe's. That's a huge hardware store in on the East Coast, and I think it's out west too. Anyway, he was fascinated. He loved it. So it is nice when you make contact with your real family. Your parents are in there. I mean, you wouldn't have had your parents, those parents, if they weren't in the group. They are. Not that you cannot make something with other groups, but you have this huge group, which, I mean, I'm saying 1,000, 2,000, it could be 10,000. I don't know. It really looked huge. All I really want you to know is that we all have many lives. We've been everything. And if we choose to come back, and it is a choice, if we still have issues that we want to address, we come back. There are other places we could go besides Earth. Earth is the most difficult place, and we have chosen to come here, especially at this time. It's difficult. So you can choose to go some other place, but this is the place to go for school. That's what Earth really is. And we are everything. So if you're Irish, you may have been Jewish the last time, or you may have been Indian, or you may come back and be Cambodian. We are everything. Just like the song says, we are the world, but we are. So know that. Try to stop. If you are prejudiced, hit it. Try not to let it continue. The fact is that it's hard because we are raised in a culture, and our culture is prejudiced. So you actually have to look at it and combat it. There's, it won't just fade away as though you poured the glass of water out. No, it doesn't work that way. You really have to look at it and try to get rid of it. Because, well, do you really want to come back for that? I don't. So I think that's really it. Ultimately, what we are is spirit. We are not this meat, this body. That's part of the situation, and why we don't care so much what happens here, because when we're on the other side, we're looking at it as observers. We're not being it. Once we leave here, once we leave this life, we are energy, we are a spirit, and we feel differently. So that's it. If you would like a reading, and I do very good readings, I talk to spirits, I can do remote visits to anywhere and see what's going on. And I can tell you your past lives. Not all of them, because it's really not easy, but one or maybe two. Contact family or people you care about who are on the other side. Can do that. And I can tell you what is best for you to do. And right now, I'm going to do 15 free readings. So if you want that, just contact me at spiritsbyjaynee. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Okay. Bye bye now.